Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready to take a bite out of the competition? Are you looking for ideas to make your business better? Welcome to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet.
Sponsored by Apple Capital Group.
At the core of every successful business, you'll find people making a difference. And with each episode of the Core Business Show, we talk with those people, examine those ideas, and explore the strategies that make them special. Now, the host of the Core Business Show, Tim Jacquet.
So on the building a brain trust for your business, you should have a board of advisors, meaning that in other conversations I've had with a few other people, small businesses should have a board of directors, but also it's important that you have part of your arsenal a board of advisors. And here are the reasons why. You might not get the people you really want on your board, but say, hey, can you be an advisory to me? Kind of help me on this particular topic, but you need to get them in a particular field. If it's accounting, get someone who is an accountant. If your friend is a lawyer, get them to, I just want to get legal advice on this. And kind of divide the pie that way. And you're just asking them on this particular option that they have an expertise in. We had a blog about a few weeks ago, a name that is to say, building a brain trust, why small businesses should consider having a board of advisors. And case study after case study, they found out that for startups, it is one of the best investments you can make to keep you from falling into certain issues. For example, legal issues, copyright issues, accounting issues. And one of the biggest things is accounting, how to handle accounting before it becomes massive. It's really easy to produce an invoice. But however, you have to carry the whole process of that accounting through the whole system to balance your books. We're going to have a guest this week who's a CPA from a home tax firm who's going to talk about some simple things you can do when you start your business, that how to manage your bookkeeping, which is always a major challenge for a startup, because some people are good in sales, some people are good in finance, some people are good in marketing, and you're just going to divide your time up. But she's going to tell you some shoestring ways to talk about how to manage your bookkeeping. Let's go back to building a brain trust. A couple case studies we had in our article we written on our blog on blog.apple Capital Group. Monica, who was just starting her startup, we wrote an article on her. She's out of Chicago, and she got with this group called Athea PowerLink Program. It's a one-year mentoring program, and the co-founder and president will be on the show in a couple of days, Diane Dinkins. And she actually, with this case study, step by step, she created this mentor program for Monica. Monica went to her mentor, but she had several mentors she was working with to talk about a particular item. And some of the things that they can advise you to do is shortcuts to make your business grow and make it a lot better. And this is a couple of things that you should remember. Get an advisory board that specializes in that particular field. Like I mentioned, attorneys, accountants, marketing, CPAs, whatever. Try to build your network around that. And if you have pressing questions, go to them and see if they can solve your issues. Also, SCORE is a good resource you should go to as well. You can get your mentors for free from there. If you're lucky to get into another mentor program, take it. Study in it for a whole year and utilize the crap out of it. Because these people are going to help you find investors. They're going to help you find anything really across the board. On Friday, we had Herb Austin, who is the director for the Dallas-Fort Worth office. He has a mentoring program in his SBA problem, in his office, not a problem. But they have mentoring programs as well. So if you work with SCORE, work with the SBA, they can get a lot of resources for you free that you won't have to stress yourself. They can kind of get you into a mentoring program like Athea and allow you to run your business a lot smoothly than have to run with these issues on financing and credit and so forth. And you really need to look at this as a year program. That's why it's 1 year. You do step by step by step and plan that for your business so you're doing step by step. And you won't fall into traps of dealing with an order you can't fill, dealing with the purchase that you can't manage, and so forth. So utilize them. Here's some simple steps, part of your advisory board that you should consider. Advisors can also be instrumental in introducing business owners to well-connected individuals who can offer potentially lucrative sales opportunities, who helped 120 startups to raise $400 million from angel investors and venture capitalists. This is what you need to have. Find experts in your field, number one. Number two, have a clear agenda of what you want to achieve and how your advisors will help you meet your objective. Number three, more is not better. Okay, more is not better. Having a team of 3 to 5 advisors who are enthusiastic about your brand and eager to give you eager advice really trumps 10 or 15 people to manage. So if you have 3 to 5 people that you can count on and get information from, that's who you want to shoot for. Number 4, take a risk and approach people who may not be out of your league or your network or your associates. If you ask someone whom you know would say yes, they might not be the best person to that you might want on your board. You want a person maybe says no, that thinks about it because they know the value of their own resources. And it's your job to try to get them or ask them, do they have someone in a network can help you out? Again, that keyword, help you out. And some people will say, well, I might not have the time to do it. However, I can get my associate. For a guest on this program, and we have an incredible list of people that we can approach on the sales level. However, a lot of people refer us for guests. Hey, I'm an expert in this particular field. However, I know this and this. Maybe I can't do it because I don't want to go on the radio. But however, I have a friend of mine who can do it for me, and they're an expert in this field as well. But they will get on the radio. I just can't do it. So sometimes it's not that forte. Some people just love to talk, and those are people you want to shoot for. But if they do say no, say, hey, do you know someone else can help me out? And some people will. Okay, another option you want to think of, make sure everyone's on your board has some time to commit to help your business. You want to get someone to have, a little time. Hey, if they're only giving you maybe 15 minutes a week, make that 15 minutes very constructive and thank them and praise them for doing it. Because 15 minutes of advice to try to solve a problem is a lot easier to digest out of their week, the entire week, than actually coming with 30 minutes, an hour, or coming to a board meeting. Have a virtual meeting. Hey, I'll call them on the phone to do a conference call or something like that. And a one-on-one or something like that. If you need to bring them 3 together, hey, do you have 15 minutes? And just keep it 15 minutes. Keep it very focused. Get them thinking out. Say, hey, let's table this, think about it, and come back to it from a week later or a few days later on that time schedule. Say, and just keep it in a 15-minute interval. And that seems to work because we're going to get them focused and give them focus to the call. They know the call is going to be 15 minutes, and usually people can do that. Find people who understand startup. This is very important. You can't get a big corporate guy who has always had a job. You need an entrepreneur, okay? Corporate environment is well established. They have a different culture than the person who started up as an entrepreneur. It's easy to get a person who's went through the mud and the ditch and the swamp to get where they are and feel honored to help somebody else get there versus with someone who only life has been corporate. They never had to worry about not having a job. They fight for their job, of course, but they didn't have to go through the things that they have everything on their shoulder. Okay, and lastly, make sure you really want to hear what the advisors have to say. Okay, make sure you're receptive to it. Okay, don't sit there and blow it off. Say, let me think about it. I'm going to take that into advice. So again, we're going to keep this really simple. Building a brain trust is your advisory board, not your board of directors who's going to meet quarterly or, I would say if you have a board of directors, have them to meet either quarterly for 1 year to commit to 1 year or meet twice a year. But I would say quarterly, you might can get them to meet quarterly. And you want to provide lunch or dinner for them, maybe like a Monday night when a lot of people don't have anything going on. Say, hey, let me do a dinner and make sure you budget for that and say this is going to be a dinner and a meeting. And you probably get people to do a little bit longer meeting, maybe an hour and a half or 2 hour meeting if they're eating because they eat first. I would say make sure at the very beginning that, if it's a boardroom, whatever, make it extremely nice. Make sure the food is nice and you might not have it catered, but make sure it's well presented well, that you make them feel important. Make sure you have coffee, plenty of drinks for them. You don't want to have real alcohol or something like that. It might loosen them up if it's a tight board, but just kind of keep in mind when you have this particular board, you want to get some work out of them. And with food and drinks, you can keep them a lot longer. You can keep them there for 2 hours and kind of help you solve the issue. Hey, my goal is to solve this particular issue this night, and so we're going to come back again and we'll see you in 3 months. Some people are willing to do that. Give them a lot of information, what the issue is, real simple, beforehand, and let them reflect on it for a couple of weeks and follow up with them a week before the board meeting, confirm with them so they're looking at the options. Some people won't do it until the last minute, but we say, hey, you confirm with them the week of and say, hey, I have this board meeting within a week, and this is the issue we need to solve. Someone will go ahead and do that for you. They will go ahead and start thinking about that, and when they come to your board meeting, then they help you solve your issues. But make sure, I would say have food, because if you say a dinner meeting at 7 o'clock or 7:30, provide them some food to make them comfortable, and then you can get them for 2 hours. Lastly, the board advisor, just keep in mind they're an advisory board. They don't really serve on your board, but you can use them as your references. You can use them as your business plan. You have your board of directors who has credentials. You have your board advisors who have credentials, and it makes you look extremely good. So again, those key points that you want to look for is the person that you know they have the experience in this particular field, and you want to keep it to 3 to 5 people. But if you have I would say 3 to 5 people that you have to work to get, and maybe additional 3 or 4 people who's willing to do a lot of work, who don't have huge expertise in it, but they're your workers. Here's your thinkers, workers and thinkers. Keep that in mind. And those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Again, find an expert in that field. Number 2, have a clear agenda on how you want to get your goals achieved and how your advisors are going to help you achieve that goal. More is not better. 3 to 5 people is sufficient, but if there are 3 to 5 thinkers, that's great. Get 3 to 5 workers along with it. Okay. Also, take a risk and approach people in your network or out of your league. Some people will say yes. Some people might seem that they're not approachable and they might be extremely busy, but they might can take some time out to help advise you, maybe 15 minutes a month or something like that. You make it 15 minutes a month. You make sure that you have them very focused and you can have them to help solve your particular issue. Also, make sure everyone on your board has some time to commit to your business. And number 6, find people who understand startup. You want entrepreneurs. You don't want corporate people. Unless you want to sell something to a corporate environment and you can ask them, hey, this is what I need to do to sell something to IBM. That's when you want to have a corporate person. But make sure you have someone closer to the sales end or the procurement end and not in IT, whatever. But IT might can help you get your lead to find out who to talk to. So kind of keep that in mind as well. Lastly, make sure you would take their advice and you really want to hear it. LinkedIn is a very good resource and a very easy way to approach people for advice. Get on the groups, get active in those groups, and maybe add a couple months and you're active. You're posting something every other day. People are beginning to learn you. Take advantage of that because then you can open an opportunity. Hey, can you be on my board? So you'd be really surprised. People are most likely, if you don't know who they are and you interact with that particular group and they see your name over and over interacting, they might take a chance on you and help you. They might be in New York and you're in Houston. And they might say, hey, I can kind of help you out for 15 minutes a month or something like that. So anyway, this is the show, keeping it simple. Again, building a brain trust, why smart business should consider having a board. This show can be downloaded on iTunes or on Blog Talk Radio. You can share. Hope this has been to you. You can also get the written article on our website at blog.applecapitalgroup. Thank you for joining the program today. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact or reach out to us. My direct number is 214-224-0995. Tim Jacquet, your host of the Core Business Show. In the next hour, we have a rebroadcast of Father Leon talking about the Ministry of Priesthood. And at noon, we have fitness expert Wesley Virgil. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet. For more information about equipment financing and asset-based loans, visit our website, applecapitalgroup.com. That's applecapitalgroup.com. Or call us at 866-611-7457. We hope you'll join us for our next episode. And remember, you can always get to the core via iTunes. You'll find all our previous episodes there. And thanks again for listening to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet.